This mutation is called Temple of Terror, and it is being played on Temple of the Past. We have 3 mutators active. We have Fear, we have Alien Incubation, and we have Afraid of the Dark. So let's quickly have a look at the masteries while everybody gets set up. We have Concentrated Beam, Structure Health Mastery, and the Drill Upgrade Mastery for Swann. So Swann will be going for a Static Defense build here, backed up by the Concentrated Beam. Zagara is gone for the standard Zagara Energy Regeneration Intensified Frenzy. Those ones are no-brainers. The Zergling Evasion Mastery has been selected over the Baneling Damage Mastery. And this is just to provide the Zerglings with a little bit more tankiness against Amon's units. You want the Zerglings to soak up damage while they get feared, while Zagara's at the back dealing damage with the Banelings and whatnot. So that is why the Zergling Evasion Mastery has been selected. Now, this does mean that your Baneling Barrage and your Banelings in general will be doing less damage. So clearing up attack waves is going to be a little bit more difficult for Zagara, but in the long run, having the Zerglings being able to soak up a lot of damage is going to be useful in making sure your army stays alive. Now, Afraid of the Dark is one of these mutators where you don't really think it's very impactful until you see how much havoc it can cause. So, when you go and clear your expansion, this is an example, when you go and clear your expansion, you send a bunch of units to target your rocks, and then you look away and you go ahead and you do other stuff. But because Afraid of the Dark prevents units from attacking if they do not have vision, it reduces the vision range to 0, which means they cannot attack at all. It means that you need to basically sit there and look as your Zerglings see the rocks. And this is one of the things that makes Afraid of the Dark a little bit more difficult. Sometimes it can limit you as to how many things you can do at the same time. Now, this might not be too impactful, but when you are getting attacked from multiple sides, as in Temple of the Past, this can make the mutation a little bit more difficult. So that is something to also note. You can see here Zagara has already taken her expansion. Good to go, and Swann is going to start working away. He's using his laser drill to start taking out the rocks. One blaster billy on this side would be enough to clear the rocks out. So Zerglings have cleared up one of the gas rocks. The last gas rock will end up being cleaned up, and now we have a bunch of Banelings here, and now we have a bunch of Marines that are working their way and cleaning up this small barricade, and the Banelings are over here for some manual detonations. You can get a lot of good value from your manual detonations if you are paying a little bit of attention. So these Banelings have also been burrowed. See over here, 1 detonation on the Banelings, 2 detonations on the Banelings. And you can see how useful the Zergling Evasion Mastery is. These Zerglings are staying alive through fear, and that is basically what the goal is just keep these Zerglings alive while Amon's units tries to focus fire them down and just soak up a little bit more damage. So Zagara is good to go now, and we'll start pushing into the enemy base here. So, another attack wave has spawned, and you can see how the Baneling Barrage is weakened in terms of its clearing potential. Usually one Baneling Barrage is enough to clear out an entire attack wave, but because Zagara's Baneling Barrage has been... Zagara doesn't have the mastery, Baneling Barrage damage also gets reduced, and it does weaken Zagara significantly. But, again, in terms of, compared to the Zergling Evasion Mastery, significantly more important. So we can see here that both commanders are going to start pushing into the side. The combat drops, unfortunately, do not know where to go because they do not have vision of this, and Zagara is busy cleaning up some of the SCVs here, trying to make sure that you clear up all the SCVs or any worker that's there, because if you do not actually have vision and the SCV gets away, it will start rebuilding everything, and all the effort that you've taken at the start of the mission just goes out the window. So there we go. There's one last orbital command center. See the SCV managed to get away, working its way here, and Zagara will have to try and clean that up. Zagara is chasing the SCV, is like, nope, you are not getting away, my friend. And now there's another attack wave that has spawned, and Zagara drops a Baneling Barrage here, ends up cleaning up the attack wave combined with the concentrated beam from Swann. And I think this area has been pretty much cleared up. Zagara's expansion has been completed now, and Zagara will start rallying some drones over here. Swann, same thing for Swann. He's putting down some Vespene harvesters, and he's going to build up his economy. With Zagara here, yeah. So that's basically all okay. Zagara's good to go, and now we have 1 siege tank as well in position here. Again, another Baneling Barrage comes down, and a pulse cannon comes up to clear up this attack wave. The attack wave gets completely deleted by the allied forces, and now they are ready to deal with the first Void Thrasher that will be spawning. Production-wise, pretty much standard builds here for both the commanders. Swann is going for the high-sec auto-tracking, which increases turret range, makes turrets a little bit more useful. And Zagara is basically going for any upgrade that will make her units stronger. In this case, we're going for the level 1 melee upgrades, and going up for the primary structure upgrade as well. So you can see another Baneling Barrage comes down, siege tanks shell off this side, and then they're putting up the broodlings that had spawned from here. And pretty much all okay here. The Zerglings are running around in fear, and now the first Void Thrasher will be spawning. So the first Void Thrasher has spawned, and you just see how much damage output the commanders have now. They end up completely clearing out the Void Thrasher. And because now that Void Thrasher has been cleared, there are no more attack waves from that lane for a while. So both commanders are now going to rotate and get into position to deal with the next side. So you can see here Swann has already put down some Flaming Betties. These Flaming Betties will help deal with the alien incubation broodlings that spawn, and we have a bunch of siege tanks as well at the back line here, just to shell away and from the high ground down. And yeah, there we go. So Zagara is ready in position, Swann's also ready, and now he is good to go. And let's see whether Swann will drop a combat drop here to deal with this first wave, or if he'll be using it to push aggressively. So, we have our first bunch of Marines that have spawned on this side. We have a concentrated beam that comes down, instantly one-shots pretty much a large chunk of this attack wave. Unfortunately, Swann does not have vision of the lower side, but you can see here the effectiveness of the Flaming Bay in dealing with the broodlings here, which is making it a little bit more useful. Zagara has already cleared up her side of the attack wave and is going to start pushing now down into this enemy camp here. So Zagara is just going to slowly start maneuvering away, and now there's an attack wave that has spawned. Instantly, a roach drop gets dropped here. And now Zagara can use his frenzy as well to instantly start pushing, and it gives her a lot of pushing power here. So you can Zagara is taking that to her advantage to start clearing out a lot of the enemy structures. But again, you can see the field of vision for Zagara is really small, so making sure that you can see all the units here is very, very difficult, and it makes it very, very tricky to clear all the enemy base here, because you need to look at every single structure that you want to clear up. You can see here a bunch of Scourge have also joined in for Zagara. Zagara is preparing to deal with the drops attacks that will be coming in from the other side of the temple as well at some point. So you can see a Hybrid was trying to target that Flaming Betty, but just ends up getting completely killed by the siege tanks here. And Zagara has dealt with the next attack wave here. There's one siege tank here, but Swann gets vision of that siege tank, ends up focus firing it down with a laser drill, and now Zagara is ready and parked for waiting for the next Void Thrasher to spawn. So far, so good. 100% HP on the temple. And you can see what Swann is doing over here. He's putting down a bunch of orbital command centers. These orbital command centers will be used for just soaking up a little bit of the attack wave and just stalling the attack waves while the commanders deal with the other sides first. So there we go. We have a first attack here, and the pulse cannon gets dropped. Instantly clears out this attack wave with a combat drop as well on here. And Zagara is just slowly ramping up her army. She's already supply camped right now, so that is very good. Supply capping as Zagara early in the mission is very, very good, because it means you can build your more macro hatcheries here to remax your army when you need to. So there was another concentrated beam had gone down to clear up this attack wave, and now unfortunately this combat drop ends up getting stuck on this side and just pinned between the two command centers. This command center will complete though, which is kind of good, but yeah, lots of broodlings here. But that is going to time out at some point. And this is going to take a very, very long time. And now there are a lot of siege tanks at the back there, and they're like, you know what? Show me those broodlings. Show me all your broodlings. I am ready. And then they're all going to siege up. And they're going to start shelling away at all of this stuff. There's a little ghost over there as well, which is also a problem. But again, lots of shelling of the siege tanks on this side. A few siege tanks do get cleaned up from the front here, but the Immortality Protocol is a very, very good upgrade for Swann. And now we have a little bit more harassment here from some of Amon's units. He's getting attacked. So I think it might have been some of the broodlings here, but Zagara is not looking at that side. Zagara is actually looking over here, but okay, so there were a few units. There was, I think, an SCV that was starting to rebuild over here, and now Zagara is going to make her way towards the top of the temple, and that is going to be the next set of attack drops here. So again, Swann is just going to try and set up a position just to be able to stall the attack waves. And Zagara is ready to handle the top side. Now Zagara needs a few more Scourge. Okay, there we go. Let's get some more Scourge now. He's just waiting to intercept this drop attack before they unload. Intercepting the drop attack, you should always try and do that. Try and make sure that you take out the drop attack before they unload their units, because otherwise it makes it a little bit more difficult. See, all those medevacs end up getting cleaned up by Zagara. And have a few more, like, even if there are a few more like broodlings that spawn, it's not as big of an issue as if you let the drop attack completely drop, because there are lots of ugly units there that makes it very, very difficult to deal with. So we have another drop attack in a sense, a little bit delayed for Zagara, but does end up cleaning up a lot of these units here, and the splash damage from the banelings actually end up cleaning up the units that had actually been unloaded from the medevacs. And now Zagara is good to go. Now there are going to be 2 more drop pod attacks for the temple before the side will be free for the time being. So over here, Swann is just slowly building up some more static defenses. Zagara is still waiting for the next drop pod set before she goes ahead and moves in with the next phase of the mission. So there's the drop pod attack, and there we go. There he gets cleaned up. And now Zagara is free to roam the map. So Zagara is going to start helping her ally out, and she's going to start moving towards the side here. What Zagara's goal is to try and start pushing up here and cleaning up that base and allowing Swann to put up his static defenses. And static defenses like this are very, very useful. So Zagara is going to start pushing in, ends up cleaning up the Void Thrasher along the way, and now she is just going to start sending her entire army over here. Another Roach drop comes down, and now there's a Frenzy, and that is just going to completely delete this enemy base on this side. And there we go, that enemy base has been cleaned up. And now Zagara basically doesn't need to do really much other than hold her side, because Swann is going to be able to completely fortify this position. You can see over here, lots of siege tanks ready. So Zagara is just going to try and... changes direction. Decides, you know what, I'm going to do the bonus objective here. I have a lot of free time, so I might as well get the bonus objective done. So, I'm going to Scourge away for the time being. Scourge can be used as an emergency thing. But you can see how much, how these Zerglings are, being able to dodge some of these attacks. Keeps them alive a little bit longer.
Our allies are being attacked.
There we go, that is that Zenith Stone completed. And then Zagara is going to move towards the central part of the map. Moves her Scourge back as well, in preparation for the next phase of the mission. So, now we have a few drops that are starting to spawn. It's 1 of 4 drops. You see how quickly Zagara is able to just look at all the fear there on the Zerglings. There's so much fear there. This is indeed the Temple of Terror. There we go. The Zerglings serve their goal. The goal of the Zerglings was just to soak up the damage so that they would not get feared consistently. So it just keeps your units alive, gives them a little bit more resilience in the mission. Now we have a bunch of Scourge here that have intercepted the drop attack. Unfortunately, the drop attack does manage to go through, and now there are a bunch of now the rest of Zagara's army is in position here, so she's going to be able to clean up this side. Unfortunately, not enough Banelings, and there's another drop attack on this side, but there's a Baneling barrage that goes down. Fortunately, that Baneling barrage was a bit of a whiff there. And now there's another attack wave that has spawned, but again, completely shredded by the siege tanks, and with the command centers in the front here to soak up the damage. And now there are a bunch of more drop attacks, but a combat drop has come down to end up cleaning up this side. Zagara is a little bit on the back foot, but that's because the combat drop has the drop attacks have intercepted her reinforcements. But Zagara will be able to remax out very, very quickly because she has a lot of macro hatcheries over here. She has a total of 2 expansions, well, 1 expansion and 4 macro hatcheries. So a total of 6 primary structures are producing larvae. Unfortunately, there is a siege tank that has parked on this side. You can see them over here. They are shelling away at Zagara's base here. So we'll have to go ahead and intercept these units out. Again, there's another drop attack on here. And Zagara's able to intercept this. Unfortunately, one Broodling has hit the temple, and that has taken out like 10 HP. So unfortunately, this is not going to be a perfect temple run. But it is very, very difficult to do a perfect temple given that you have alien incubation active. You don't have vision. Like, you don't have vision. All enemy units are trying to target the temple in the first place, and then you have alien incubation as well, which is very, very tricky. Now we have another attack wave that has spawned down here. Again, completely shredded by the siege tanks, and we even have a few spinning dizzies to deal with the anti-air component here. And now both commanders are going to get ready for this next side of Void Thrashers. You can see attack wave has spawned and just gets completely shredded by these siege tanks. These siege tanks do so much damage. And there we go, that's the attack wave done. And we have a Void Thrasher here, but Zagara has dropped the Roach drop to just provide a little bit more of a stronger front line here for her army. And now he's going to create some more Banelings so that she can detonate them on top of the next drop, because the next drop is going to have hybrids. And Zagara needs the damage output that the Banelings the Banelings offer her. So we have a few Banelings, we have some Scourge, and Swann has basically fortified this position completely. There's nothing that'll be going through this area, and yeah, more or less Zagara is good to go. So there's an attack wave that has dropped now from the ping marker on the top, and Zagara is waiting for her side to spawn. So there we go. Hybrid has spawned, and now there's just an A-click onto this side. Lots of fear going out on these Zerglings, but you can see how these Zerglings do not die very quickly. They're actually staying alive, and that is why the Zergling Invasion Mastery is so effective in this. And Swann is basically just laughing right now, laughing at Amon's attempts to try and go through. And there we go. So now we have a few more Banelings coming up. And Zagara has again remaxed her army, pulling 5,000 minerals and 4,000 gas. That is more than enough resources to be able to remax her army at least a few times. A bunch of siege tanks are coming out now.
Upgrade complete.
So, next drop attack comes up now. And again, Zagara has instantly cleaned up that side. The area gets completely shredded as usual by the siege tanks. The area as well. A few ghosts on there, but that ghost goes flying off on the side there, which is kind of funny. Like the ragdoll effects here. And two side vessels trying to heal each other through all the damage, but that is unfortunate. So Zagara has cleaned up that bonus objective. There's one last bonus objective, and Zagara is going to make her way towards that side because that is the last attack wave for the most part that Zagara will need to handle. So they are going to try and make a beeline through here. A few of the Banelings try and go through, but they get feared by the Marines. But again, there's focus fire down here from the drill. And now Zagara is just going to A-click her Scourge onto this. Just try and clear the bonus objective as quickly as possible. There we go. The Banelings also get A-clicked on. And that is all 3 bonus objectives done on this side. And that one Baneling is getting feared by this one Broodling here. But I think that is that for the most part. I don't think there are any more attack waves that will be spawning in this mission. But there we go. That is the mission done. Almost perfect temple run. But there we go. Those are Broodlings for you. That is GG.